Howdy peeps, back on here again. Happy Friday. It's June 20th, 2025. I'm going to turn this AC down a bit. Man, it is hot already. The summer is here. In fact, I think it's officially summer today. I think June 20th is the official day of summer. So we've got 3 months of summer. And if you if you live in Texas, if you visited here, you're familiar with Texas summers, you'll know that they are hot. So yeah, it's upon us now. Every time you get out of the car to go to the store or pump some gas or what do you got to do, just getting out and about, man, you can feel that heat. I forget that I've lived here for 22 years, 23 years now. It's like my 23rd summer. I still feel like every year it rolls around, I'm like, I don't know if it takes me a couple weeks to get acclimated. Anyway, with all that being said, I just wanted to hop on here, and this video I'm going to probably post on my YouTube channel. I spoke earlier in the year, right in January, New Year's resolutions, and I got to tell you the truth, I'm just coming out, just honestly, man, I dropped the ball. I got pulled in different directions. It's so easy to get pulled in so many different directions and distractions, and with all these vices and things that we have to our disposal, with our phones, right? With just social media and notifications going off every day, and just getting, you can get immersed in some of this stuff. And I think it's really important. What I've learned, almost at the halfway point of the new year, here it is 2025, and we're almost halfway through it. But for me personally, and hopefully this resonates with some of you, I think it's just a matter of just regrouping, really taking a look at where you're putting your time, your energy. That's important, of course, but it really, man, it is so important to the battle starts every day right up here, right? Mental. It's so important to have that mental aspect of your day, man, to start it off right. It's so easy to overthink things, to think of too many things, it's easily, at least for me this year, to get overwhelmed with so much going on. So for me, I had to almost just dummy it down, really, and just get back to, I call it old schooling it, man. Like when we didn't have phones or access to all these technology, right? It's a beautiful thing, technology. It's a blessing, but it can be a curse if you don't use it right. It's just like I use the analogy, of course, my alter ego character, Phobia, stands for fear. Face your fear. Take control of your life. That's the message, right? Use fear as a tool to build and create in your life. Become the best version of yourself, as opposed to allowing fear to keep you trapped, to keep you shackled, to keep you imprisoned, from living your ultimate self, your truest, highest purpose in life, right? To get as much out of life in all facets of your life, relationships, finances, hobbies or inspired visions, goals, dreams, all those things, to get the most out of those. Use fear, right? The fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of judgment, the fear of change, like whatever fear it is, to take that and use it as a tool to build. It's just like a toolbox. You got a toolbox that has all these wonderful tools in it, right? You can build some beautiful, amazing things. A hammer, a saw, a drill, right? Screwdriver. But if you can break your hand with a hammer. You can drill a hole through your hand with a drill. My point is, how do you use the tool of fear? Do you use it to build, to create, or do you misuse the tool and mess yourself up? The analogy is, do you allow fear to keep you trapped and mess your life up? Because that's what will happen if you do. Kind of went down a rabbit hole there. That wasn't my intention in this video. My intention was just acknowledging that how late we are in the year already. I say late, it's not late. I guess for me, the year is late because for me personally, like I said, got bucked off a couple projects that are still in the making. I'm seeing those through. There's delays, right? And that can kind of build a sense of anxiety, and it's like the clock is ticking. But I think a lot of times, we do that to ourselves. It's great to set goals and set dates and have standards, right? You got to meet those standards to be able to keep moving along. But I think at the end of the day, sometimes you have to just sit back and go, okay, because you can overwhelm yourself to a point where you're just getting worse and worse as far as being productive, right? You're letting the anxiety take over. So it's important to just kind of go back to the drawing boards. You've heard that term, and just reassess and regroup, make some shifts, and then just, create a plan, a practical, sensible, realistic plan for yourself, your life, where you're at. You know your life better than anybody, and to be honest with yourself, what I can do and cannot do. And I think a lot of times we underestimate certain things or overestimate other things, right? So just be realistic, be real, and just set, I think weekly goals, and then obviously monthly goals, and then maybe quarter goals. But for me, that's what I had to do. I had to just dummy it down and just regroup, and kind of like calling a timeout in the ball game, so to speak, right? And reassess and then carry on. Create your plan, revamp it, and then work your plan every day, right? Whether those are phone calls, emails, writing, meeting with people, just follow-ups, researching, putting just action steps, right? Practical action steps consistently every day. And the other thing too, it's really important, is don't isolate yourself either. We live in this busy world. Be around real people. Like, even I know everyone's busy, everyone's got a life, especially if you have family, kids, work schedule, if you travel. All those things you need to take in consideration. But I think it's important, if you have an opportunity, even if it's just for 30 minutes and 20 minutes, try to connect with some of your closer friends, your family members, mentors, coaches, whatever that looks like in your life, as far as mental, moral, emotional, spiritual support. That is so important, because the battle starts here every day, right? And the way that you think dictates your thoughts, dictate your feelings, and then those feelings dictate your actions, and your actions, or lack thereof, dictate your life and what direction and trajectory that's going to go. So anyway, I just felt compelled to hop on here. This is the kind of space I love to be in and to connect with you on. Again, this is probably going to go on my YouTube channel. That's a project too that I said I wanted to build my YouTube channel, and I haven't been consistent, but I really plan to moving forward. My YouTube channel will be a reflection of me as a speaker, as a coach, my principles, and just taking everything, my education, my insights, my wisdom, my experience, and channel that into my coaching program, which involves, of course, exercise, nutrition, but it's just as important, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the mind, body, soul triad. And I'll be working predominantly with men 40 plus that are, I'm revamping my program. I've coached a few people that is, a little bit scattered everywhere. And that was part of the issue with me. I needed to really get fine-tuned and lasered on who I'm going to be spending my time with and who I'm going to coach, right? And as a speaker, I'm going to be revamping things there as well. Corporate speaking is great, and I still will be involved with that. But it's what's really in my heart personally is, you got to really pull from what you're most passionate about, that you really feel, right? Because as a speaker, there's a performance side to it, sure. There's techniques, or it's a skill. And I'm refining myself as a speaker. But what's really important is not to get so caught up in just sound bites, or too commercialized, or just cliches, right? There's so many speakers that just I roll my eyes, it's just, you've heard this stuff over and over again, certain exact sound bites. It's all about coming from your heart, man, and speaking truth, and pulling from your experience, from your wisdom, what you truly are. It's truly the essence of what you can pull from, right? And when that comes out, man, it's just so real, and people can truly connect with that. And that's for me, I really pull a lot of my grit, my durability, my consistency, my loyalty to my high school and college Division I wrestling experience. Just what you learn, with my experience was, about in wrestling in particular as an individual sport, but yet it's still a team sport, right? In the sense that you have teammates, your coaches, right? You're working with them, you're working out with them, but it really, at the end of the day, when you step out on the mat, it's all you against your opponent, right? It's not like a team sport where, it's a collective effort in that sense. So you really have to learn a lot about yourself, and, learning how to lose or dealing with, I don't like to use the word failures, because a failure, what I'm even learning is that, we're gonna have shortcomings, we're gonna fall short of our goals and dreams and all that, but it's like if you quit because you had a loss or you had a setback or whatever, that's probably a failure, right, over long term. But you look at those shortcomings, those losses along the way, along the journey, as a means to just get better and come back even stronger. And you're always learning you learn more from losses, I believe, than you do from wins. And as long as you just keep learning and applying those for the next time, you just become better and better and more refined, right? So to me, losses are part of the journey, and in life too, right? Setbacks, could be financial setbacks, could be career changes, it could be getting, let go at a job, it could be, relationships, breakups, divorces, it could be bankruptcies. I mean, we're getting, loss of loved ones. I mean, there's some of the most, I guess, the hardest experiences that we can go through as humans, right? But to go through those experiences and not let those define us for the rest of our lives. Yes, there's a grieving period. There's, it's going to be tough. It's going to be, we go through seasons, right? But as long as you continue moving forward and learning from every experience, especially the hard ones that build character, grit, integrity, and you come back stronger, man, it's just molding you. Just like Tony Robbins says, I don't want to sound too Tony Robbins-ish here, but when you can see life is happening for you and preparing you and setting you up for greatness, as opposed to life is happening to me. Why is this happening to me? Why did I have to go through this or that? Haven't I gone through enough grief, enough despair, enough pain? Those are questions. But it's very, we all ask ourselves that right as we go through our life journey. But it's if you can really change your mindset to see it as, hey, it's happening for me, not to me, but it is up to me ultimately to see it that way. Because if you see it the other way, it's happening to me, you're going to stay as a victim. You're going to keep yourself trapped, right? Then you let anxiety come in, then the fear comes in, and then the self-doubting, the second guessing, and before you know it, you have created this whirlwind trap, and it is brutal. And I'm speaking from experience. That's why I can speak so wholeheartedly about this. And this year alone, this has probably been the absolute hardest year so far of my life. People ask me all the time, who's your toughest opponent, Shawn? When I wrestled, WWE, WCW, right? Or even in amateur wrestling. Who was your toughest opponent? Who was your biggest challenge? Who was the strongest? Every time I look in the mirror and I see that guy staring back at me, just like I'm looking at this camera right now, I see myself on the camera right now, right? Whenever I see that man staring right back in my own eyes, that's my toughest opponent. That's my toughest, strongest, biggest challenge in my life. It's me, right? Because the battle all starts right here. So it's so important to get a grip on this, and whatever that takes, whether it means connecting with a mentor, a coach, good friends that you trust, a really good friend, a BFF, a family member, whatever that looks like for you. Also, there's some tremendous podcasts, thought leaders, speakers, authors, right? It's amazing that we have so much at our disposal with our phones, right? Yet there's so much toxicity and just bullshit out there, TikTok dances and just, short form content and quick dopamine hits and scrolling and waste of time, right? I'm all about entertainment. I am an entertainer at the core. Most of you know that, right? You can't do what I did and still have a passion for being a storyteller, and film and theatrics and entertainment. I love it, right? I love to exude that and share a story or create I love it. I love entertainment. But as I've gotten older, I realized that even with entertainment, for me personally, with my phobia project, for instance, the comic book project, that's again a delay, but we're gonna see it through. We're picking up the pieces and moving forward. I have a film vision with that, big visions with that. Phobia, again, face your fears, own your life, right? Use fear as a tool to create and build in your life. Don't misuse the tool and allow it to keep you trapped and keep you in prison and keep you shackled in life from being your ultimate self. Where was I going with this? See, I need someone to kind of filter me a bit. I'm going down these different rabbit holes, but I didn't plan this video to be this long. But now that I'm at it, I'm just sharing my heart, man. I'm just sharing my heart with you, and I just felt compelled to get on here and express. So, but yeah, with talking about entertainment, but that's great, and we have access to that with our phones, with our iPads or computers, whatever. But you got to be very cautious of that, because it can also keep you trapped, and it's a vice, and it's distractions. And yeah, it's okay to go be entertained for a couple hours. Go rent a comedy movie or whatever movie on Netflix. Go to a movie, go to whatever, a concert. Go to entertainment's great, but what I'm saying is that it's so important that if you're really looking to level up and become the best version of yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, to put it all together, maybe a particular career or a inspired dream or vision or passion that I've mentioned, we have access to the right people and the right content to help us develop those skills, or just it all starts with, again, up here, right? To plant those seeds and to really, you'll find though too, when you search this stuff, a lot of the different speakers and voices and leaders or thought leaders, there's a lot of the same information, the same content, just kind of recycled and expressed in different ways, different points of views. So sometimes we have to hear it over and over and over again, and in different perspectives. It's like watching a movie 10 times. It's never, you notice things, you pick up on things that you didn't notice the first couple times, right? It's the same scenario. You have to it's repetition, just like anything else, to get good at it, with anything in life, So repetition, and just consuming and immersing yourself in that content that will help you become the best version of yourself, I think is really important. So now I'm just rambling, and I've rambled for almost 20 minutes. I guess that's it for now. My whole point was June 20th, year's almost halfway over. If you drop the ball yourself, if you had a couple setbacks, delays, whatever the case, you know what? I'm just here to say I'm kind of taking myself out of my own situation, and it's like I'm connecting with my higher self. What would my higher self tell me? Say, you know what? At least you've acknowledged it. You know where you went wrong. You know what you need to change. You know what you've done well, and you know what you've done that's not so well. You know what's serving you well and what's not serving you well. So make those changes, make those shifts, make those adjustments, and you know what? Just be consistent with that, and watch the second half unfold and build momentum towards the end of the year, heading into 2026 with great momentum, progress, and maybe some of the goals that you set you will have accomplished before December 31st. So anyway, I'm just here to remind you that don't give up, keep swinging, have faith, there's hope. I hope this message encouraged you to seek out, the things that I mentioned: mentorship, coaching, moral support from real people in your life. Maybe not scroll so much, seek out great content to level up, and just keep faith and have faith ultimately in yourself. Just keep moving forward, keep swinging, and just stay consistent. All right, and I will try to start posting. One of my goals, honestly, really is to post more content on the YouTube channel. For those who aren't subscribed, please go over there. I've changed my title of my YouTube channel so many times I forget the name of it. It's Shawn Stasiak, just plain and simple. Oh, Shawn Stasiak Breakthrough. Because to me, for me in my life personally, I'm all about breakthrough, man. I've held myself back on particulars in my life, some different facets in life, and I'm looking for a breakthrough. And I'm working towards that, and I'm sure all of you are as well. So whatever that looks like for you, I don't know. Again, could be any facet of your life, but it's all about, I want this content, I want this channel to represent myself as a speaker, as a coach, right? Maybe a little entertainment stuff will be thrown in there. But like I said, it's all about breakthrough, and to get those breakthroughs in your life, relationships, finances, visions and goals that you've had, whatever you put off for years, to finally have those breakthroughs. But it's going to take the steps, right? And I hope in this video, if you are to take anything from this, that you can take some of those steps that I mentioned in this video that I'm about to end right now, because we're at almost 22 minutes. I hope that makes sense. I hope you resonated with this. I love you all. I wish you all the best. God bless. And until next time, take care.